Okay, so this is what your project should look like when you are ready to carve. You can see that all of the sides have been drawn on, and then all of the grids have been erased, okay? And this is erased to the best of your ability. Like, you can still kind of see them, but I'm afraid that if we took a sponge and sponged this off, since the drawings aren't very deep, it might go away, okay? So you want to go ahead and just wait. This way, if you only have these lines on here, then it's going to tell your brain those are the only lines that you need to carve. Okay, so that's why we're erasing these. This is the tool that I'm going to give you to use. If you look at this, it's hard to tell, but one wire is a bigger gauge than the other wire. Okay, and I'm not talking like this one is longer, okay, because they're all a little bit different. I'm saying that the thickness of this wire is smaller, okay? So this is going to make a smaller, more precise, like carving, okay? This will look different than how this one will be much bigger. This one is smaller, so it's sharper, okay? It's gonna cut through the clay better. And this clay is, like just from the bucket, this is really soft. It's gonna be a lot easier to carve when this project is leather hard. Okay, we don't want it to be really, really dry, but when it's drier, it's going to be easier, okay, to carve. There are a few things that you want to make sure that you do. If you look at this tool, let me go ahead and zoom in. You need to carve with the tool facing this direction. So then the clay is going to come out of the top of this. Okay, let's see if I can focus this. Okay. So you can see like it's carving and it's going this direction. So you're taking out a little piece. If you're not taking any clay out of that, then you're not doing anything, okay? I have some people who they will turn their tool sideways and they'll go over the whole design like this, okay? And they're just like cutting into the clay, okay? They're not actually removing anything like this. So you're gonna have all these little crumbly pieces that cannot get wiped onto the floor. You're going to have to like keep them. Okay, just make a pile on your desk. Just if you go through and you carve everything like this, then you're going to come over and say, hey, I'm done. And I'm going to say, no, the glaze is going to cover all of this up. You're going to have to carve it again. Okay, and then you're going to be upset. Okay. So you want to make sure that you don't do that. The other thing you want to make sure that you don't do, some people will carve and they will push their entire tool into it. Okay. Like, remember, this is not a solid piece of clay, right? This is a hollow rectangular prism. It's only 1/4 of an inch thick. Okay. So if you go through and you carve as deep as that will go, you're probably slicing this pot into hundreds of pieces, okay, because it's eventually going to fall apart. Okay, so you can't just smash this tool all the way into it. There's kind of a middle ground. You don't want to have barely any carving, but you don't want to have carving like this that is like a hole. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have it thick enough. It should probably be, I don't know, anywhere from a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch, like deep. Okay. And you can always come and talk to me about it and we can figure out if you've got it where it's deep enough, okay? If it's not, the glaze will cover things up, okay? You've got to have a difference of height. Okay, I need all eyes up at the front. I see people staring at each other. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and carve just a section of this. And so remember that your tool is open on the top, okay? And then you're just going to go right on top of it where you are. And so I have to like kind of pinch this and pull the clay off because it can get clogged. But you're just going to go back over all of this. And sometimes you do need to come back over a few sections. You might have to brush this off. But like even places that have points, you might have to come back both directions and recarve it. Okay, there's nothing wrong with doing that, okay? The better the carving is, I mean, the better your project's gonna look in the end, Okay, and you can see how that just comes off, but it's going to need to be brushed off and cleaned out. And then you can see how that does change the look of that. It's going to be more bold. Okay. And you're going to be able to feel it. After this, you would want to take some water and like sponge this off. It's going to be a lot easier to do this and not like lose your design. So let me finish just one of these little sections. So just kind of pinch and pull that clay off. This is pretty fun. It's a different technique than what we're used to. Okay, so I've got like one of these done. It's not as clean.